in our lungs, but do you know how to keep your brain healthy too? Well, this guide tells you how, in 7 steps you can start taking right now, whatever your age. Just ring the number on screen to get your free copy. Inside you'll find facts and tips that can keep your brain healthy and help reduce your risk of developing dementia. It's advice you can really trust from leading dementia scientists. Read it, keep it, and check back whenever you need to. Order your free copy now. Call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Plus, claim Galaxy Buds 3 Pro and try Gemini Advanced for 6 months at no cost. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
जब मेहमान नवाजी में कोई कसर बाकी ना हो, तब जान लो घर में आज दावत है, दावत. Bring out your finest.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I'm just getting started. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period.
And no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4474 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Thanks for staying with NDTV. You're watching the Monday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun Samad Mahindra, and let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is embarking on a 6-day visit of the Netherlands, Denmark and Germany beginning on Monday, during which he is also expected to highlight Pakistan's relentless support for cross-border terrorism. For perspective, this is Dr. Jaishankar's first foreign visit after the recent military confrontation, in fact, between India and Pakistani armed forces. The Ministry of External Affairs has said Dr. Jaishankar will meet the leaders of the 3 countries and also hold discussions with his counterparts on the entire gamut of bilateral relations, regional and global matters of mutual interest. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri will brief a parliamentary committee later today on the India-Pakistan military conflict that happened in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack on the 22nd of April. The meeting comes against the backdrop of the Indian Armed Forces carrying out Operation Sindoor to in fact avenge the Pahalgam attack and the subsequent military actions between the 2 countries. Mr. Misri will brief the panel chaired by Congress member Shashi Tharoor on the current foreign developments regarding India and Pakistan on Monday as on Tuesday. Meanwhile, my colleague Aishwarya Jain gets us the latest. Moving on, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar will travel to China on Monday, where he is expected to in fact hold bilateral talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Afghanistan's acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi will also arrive in China on the 20th of May to in fact attend the trilateral meeting as reported by Pakistan's Geo News. Now viewers, it would be Dar's first foreign trip after India and Pakistan reached an understanding on the 10th of May to end a conflict that saw 4 days of intense cross-border drone and missile strikes. Staying with Pakistan, as part of its not-for-too loan tranches worth $2.4 billion in the 9th of May, the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, has in fact introduced 11 new structural benchmarks, including parliamentary approval of budget in line with the loan facility, publishing a government's action plan, and notifications of electricity tariff rebasing and gas tariff adjustments to be met, in fact, by the country before its next review of the Extended Fund Facility, or the EFF, scheduled for September this year. The IMF, for perspective, is financing a $7 billion aid package to Islamabad that was approved in September 2024. The ongoing 37-month-long EFF program of the IMF consists of 6 reviews over the span of the bailout. US President Donald Trump has said he'd have a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday morning to discuss, in fact, how to stop the war in Ukraine. Now, this comes hours after the US President's announcement. Kremlin forces launched the largest drone barrage on Ukraine since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of the country back in February 2022. Posting Saturday on Truth Social, Trump said he'd also speak on Monday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and various members of the NATO alliance. My colleague Disha Bagchi joins us for the latest in this. Disha, after the lull in Istanbul talks, we've seen a low-level designation. In fact, the ex-tourism minister sent by Russia. How important will this phone call be, or will it even happen or not? What are you picking up?
Absolutely, Arjun. I think this is going to be a significant conversation between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Putin, given the fact that many saw the fact that Vladimir Putin skipping the first direct talks between Russia and Ukraine in the past 3 years, despite the fact that he was the one who actually proposed this meeting. He later skipped it, and this was seen by the world as, in a sense, snubbing not just Ukrainian President Zelensky, but also, in a sense, US President Donald Trump, who in fact had pressured Russia and Ukraine to get back on the negotiating table and come to some sort of ceasefire agreement. So now this conversation, which is set to take place at about 7:30 p.m. Indian time, is going to be crucial, because even in the Truth Social post that US President Donald Trump posted, he said that he expects this to be a productive meeting. He expects that some sort of ceasefire agreement is reached soon. Remember that US President Donald Trump had in fact vowed to reach a ceasefire in this war within 24 hours, and now it's been over 100 days and he's yet to deliver on this promise. So he is also facing certain pressures from his domestic audience, and in fact really upping the pressure on the Kremlin. And it's going to be interesting to see how this conversation really goes, and because this could be an inflection point in this war, because if it doesn't go well, it could mean that Russia could face increased US sanctions. If it does go well and US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin do in fact agree to come to the table along with the Ukrainian president, we could see some sort of truce deal being agreed in the near future.
Well, as you right pointed out, Disha, all eyes on that probable Trump-Putin phone call. Now moving on, but staying with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia and Ukraine on Sunday have claimed in separate statements, of course, that their armed forces downed dozens of each other's drones in the past day amid the continuing exchanges of fire between the two countries. Now, Russia's Ministry of National Defense said in a statement that its air defense forces shot down 75 Ukrainian drones, and also that its troops repelled multiple Ukrainian attacks and also launched offensives in the directions of Sumy, Kharkiv, Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia over the past 24 hours. That's over the weekend, viewers. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Ukrainian Air Force has said that between 4 p.m. Saturday and 8 a.m. Sunday local time. It brought down 88 Russian drones amid a Russian aerial assault that involved 273 drones, according to Ukraine's defenses. Shifting focus and gears to West Asia now, where the Israeli military has announced a significant ground incursion into multiple areas of the Gaza Strip on Sunday. As Palestinian health officials reported that overnight and early morning airstrikes, in fact, had killed at least 67 people, including many women and children. This of course, according to the Palestinian Health Authority. On the other hand of the divide, the Israeli Defense Forces have confirmed that ground forces, including reservists, now have begun extensive operations in both northern and southern Gaza. Now, this comes as part of a broader offensive it has termed Gideon's Chariots. This marks a new phase in Israel's 20-month-long war against the Palestinian Islamic militants and other militant factions in the war-torn enclave. In fact, Israeli military chief of staff Eyal Zamir said on Sunday that the army would in fact continue its newly launched ground operation in Gaza until it breaks Hamas's military ability.
בשונה מבעבר, אנחנו מרכזים כעת מאמץ התקפי ברצועת עזה ומבצעים התקפה עד להכרעה במקומות בהם נפעל. הצהרנו בתקופה האחרונה כי צה"ל נערך להוציא לפועל פעולה רחבה, כל עוד חמאס יתבצר בעמדתו ויחזיק חטופים. כעת האיום מתממש.
In the U.S., a new bill introduced by U.S. House Republicans is stirring concern among immigrant communities, especially Indians living and working in the U.S. The proposed legislation now seeks to impose a 5% excise tax on all international remittances sent by non-U.S. citizens. Now, this also includes those on the H-1B and F-1 and other visa categories as well. With Indians being one of the largest contributors to remittances globally, this measure could substantially, in fact, affect both personal remittances and investment-related outflows.
The reconciliation bill that we debated and that we discussed.
For the roll call is. You forgot that part.
I just asked for the clerk to call the roll.
Staying with the U.S., Republicans advanced their massive tax cut and broader security package out of a key House committee during a rare Sunday night vote. Now, this comes as deficit hawks who blocked the measure 2 days earlier reversed course after gaining commitments on the package's spending cuts. House Speaker Mike Johnson met with Republican lawmakers shortly before the meeting, telling reporters, in fact, that the changes agreed to were just some minor notifications and not huge things. Democrats on the panel pressed for more details about the changes that Republicans had in fact agreed to in the private negotiations. Former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This is according to a statement from his personal office Sunday. Doctors diagnosed Biden last week with a prostate nodule after he experienced increasing urinary symptoms. By Friday, they diagnosed him with cancer. Biden's news seemed to, for a short time at least, break through Washington's current fierce divides. Among those quickly offering support were his immediate predecessor and successors in the White House. Melania and I are saddened to hear about Biden's recent medical diagnosis, said President Trump on Truth Social, his social media platform. And meanwhile, the diagnosis revelation comes as Democrats were publicly grappling with new questions about Biden's mental acuity throughout the last 2 years of his presidency.
Former President Joe Biden was diagnosed Friday with prostate cancer. It's an aggressive form of cancer that has spread to his bones. His office made the announcement on Sunday. Now, prostate cancer is measured on something known as a Gleason scale. That looks on a scale of 1 to 10 at how a cancerous cell compares to a normal cell. Biden registered at a 9. Still, his office says that the cancer is likely hormone sensitive and can be treated. Statements for recovery came from President Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, who was Biden's vice president and succeeded him as the Democratic nominee in the 2024 election. Now, Biden, while he was president, made treating cancer one of his priorities. In 2022, he created the Cancer Moonshot. His goal was to have cancer deaths in 25 years. What inspired him to create this project was his own loss. In 2015, his son, Beau, died from brain cancer.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has said the federal government will in fact present a budget in the autumn days after the finance minister has said that the new Liberal government will in fact have an economic update later in the year. Now, Carney's announcement comes after he attended a Pope's inauguration at the Vatican just days after Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne said the new government will in fact table an economic update later this year, implying it will not present an annual budget in the near term. Rafał Trzaskowski from Poland's governing centrist Civic Coalition, or the KO, is narrowly ahead of Karol Nawrocki, the candidate backed by the Nationalist Law and Justice Party, in the first round of the country's presidential election. Now, this is according to an exit poll, the latest exit poll. In fact, Sunday's vote sets up a close battle to determine if the nation stays on a pro-European path or leans closer to the admirers of Trump and United States. Portugal's governing right-of-centre Democratic Alliance has won snap parliamentary elections, the third in as many years for perspective, again falling short of a majority. Meanwhile, its leader Luis Montenegro has promised supporters to stimulate investment and to guarantee prosperity and social justice. Socialist leader Pedro Nuno Santos announced meanwhile his resignation after his party finished in second and lost so many seats it ended up neck and neck with far-right Chega. A relatively newcomer, the socialists continue meanwhile even slip behind Chega if results from voters abroad, which take a few days to seep in, mirror those in last year's election when 2 out of the 4 seats went to Chega and 1 to the socialists. Here's more. South Korea's 2 leading presidential candidates, Lee Jae-myung and Kim Moon-soo, have in fact held the first of 3 televised debates, as you see on your screens. This as the race intensifies to replace former President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was in fact removed in April this year over his contentious move to declare martial law late in 2024. Now, Yoon's ouster has smoked political turmoil in the nation, and a snap election is in fact set for the 3rd of June. Members of the crew of the Mexican ship that collided with the Brooklyn Bridge on Saturday evening were seen disembarking the damaged vessel on Sunday in New York. The 300-foot or 90-meter vessel crashed into Brooklyn Bridge while it was maneuvering in turbulent waters. The tide has just turned and a fast current was headed up the East River at 10 meters per hour when the wind set in. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the first blood test to help diagnose Alzheimer's disease. It's a move that could make it easier, in fact, to detect the condition early in some people. Now, the test developed by a Japanese biotech company, in fact, looks for proteins in the blood that can indicate the presence of amyloid plaques in the brain. It's a key hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. The blood test can't, however, definitively diagnose the disease, for which there is also no cure. Rather, experts said that the test could help screen adults aged 55 and older who are at the risk of Alzheimer's, which could in fact speed up their path to diagnosis and treatment before the onset of symptoms. This also includes severe memory loss. Pope Leo has called for unity at his inaugural Mass at the Vatican, attended by thousands of faithful and world leaders, including Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, during the address on Sunday, he criticized economic systems which had exploited Earth's resources and marginalized the poor. Moreover, he also said he would seek to govern without ever yielding the temptation to be an autocrat. The Pope further noted efforts to end the war in Ukraine in a prayer after the service, and also held a meeting with Zelensky, as you see on your television screens right now. And also do note that the pontiff had called for an end to the war in his first days in office. As time is limited to a short break, I'll see you after this.
I think that there's something that's always there that I just need to uncover. It's like I know I'm gonna get there, but I have to be patient with myself. That's probably the scary part for me. And it's okay, like if you completely pivot and change. You know, you have to be comfortable with that.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Plus, claim Galaxy Buds 3 Pro and try Gemini Advanced for 6 months at no cost. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
I'm in. Okay, now, you can have a great first day. I promise, all right?
Your donations helped 3D print his heart to guide his surgery and saved his life with a groundbreaking innovation. And the future breakthrough that could cure her is closer than ever. Help us turn science fiction into reality and save more lives like hers. Donate to the British Heart Foundation now.
दावत जब दिल में थोड़ी बेकरारी और ढेर सारा प्यार हो, कुछ खास करने का अरमान हो, किसी अपने के आने का पैगाम हो, जब केसर ज़ाफ़रान से ज्यादा छोटी-छोटी कोशिशों से घर महका हो, मेज पर खाने से ज्यादा बनाने वाले का दिल सजा हो, जब मेहमान नवाजी में कोई कसर बाकी ना हो, तब जान लो घर में आज दावत है, दावत. Bring out your finest.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout. Nice one. It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on! Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be on thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
Welcome back. You're watching The World Report. On to some business news now. Commerce advisor to Bangladesh's interim advisor Sheikh Bashruddin has in fact said that the country is willing to engage with New Delhi to address trade-related issues in the wake of export curbs imposed by India, in fact, at several key land ports, according to an ANI report. Now, India has banned the import of several goods from Bangladesh by road, including garments, snacks, drinks, and even plastic items. Viewers, now this follows Bangladesh's earlier curbs on Indian yarn imports and India's cancellation of a transshipment facility, leading to a tit-for-tat trade restrictions between the two countries. Moody's has become the latest major credit rating agency to downgrade the United States, citing ballooning government debt that could in fact grow further if Republicans pass a package to extend President Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts. The White House, meanwhile, sought to downplay Moody's assessment, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Sunday describing the rating as a lagging indicator of the country's economic health. The GOP's proposed budget package, which could also add trillions to the federal deficit, according to estimates, again suffered a blow Friday as party hardliners stopped the bill from moving forward, arguing it would add too much to the debt. Another push for advance, the package was expected later on Sunday, which, in fact, viewers, it was passed by the committee. Asian shares slipped Monday on mixed China data and US debt worries. China's retail sales missed targets while output edged higher. Moody's US has downgraded and tariff talks hit Wall Street futures. Meanwhile, Treasury yields also rose as the dollar fell. Gold jumped over 1% and as a weaker dollar and renewed US tariff threats boost safe haven demand. Economic data signals possible rate cuts, supporting gold's appeal amid ongoing trade tensions and market uncertainty. OpenAI's new AI tool, Codex, can now write, fix, and test code. That's correct. It works as a virtual co-worker inside ChatGPT for pro users. Developers can customize it via GitHub files, but OpenAI warns human review is still needed. In the world of sports, the recent hostilities between India and Pakistan on the border areas are set to have a long and lasting impact on the cricketing relations, in fact, between the two countries. While New Delhi and Islamabad were already against playing bilateral cricket, the worsened political relations between the two nations have jeopardized multi-team events between the two teams as well. With the Pakistan minister heading the Asian Cricket Council, the body governing cricket affairs in the continent, the Board of Cricket Control for India, or the BCCI, is in fact planning to pull out of this year's Asia Cup altogether in a bid to further isolate the neighbouring pariah Pakistan. Meanwhile, my colleague Rika joins us for the latest. Rika, there's a lot of aspersions going on around this story. If you could break all of these for our viewers.
Well, you see, India doesn't want to play Pakistan in any of the bilateral or multilateral meets. This has been the stance for a very long time, and following the Pahalgam attack, things have been formed out. As regards the Asian Cricket Council issue, we have learned from BCCI sources that they have already communicated to the Asian Cricket Council that BCCI doesn't want to send its team, which is the Indian cricket team, to play in the tournament, though the schedule, the fixture isn't out yet, but a window was there in September, and now it seems that in all likelihood the tournament itself will get scrapped if India doesn't appear, and that would mean about $170 million dent to Sony that signed an 8-year deal for Asia Cup with the Asian Cricket Council. A fair bit of that share was to go to India, Pakistan, and the Asian countries, as well as the associate countries. They will not be getting that money, and with India pulling out, even Pakistan will take a big financial hit.
So thank you so much for breaking that down for our viewers, Rika. And with that, it's a wrap on this Monday edition of the World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
For such gentle souls, working donkeys in the Middle East lead terribly hard lives. For such trusting animals, donkeys are too often abused and exploited. These sensitive, loyal animals often suffer the cruelest pain. This is the hard, painful life that donkeys in Egypt, the West Bank, Israel, and Gaza have to endure. Too often, it's not only a hard life, it is also a short one. But there is something you can do to make their hard lives much easier. Please call Safe Haven for Donkeys on 0800 144 5802 or go online and give a life-saving gift of just £2 a month. Safe Haven for Donkeys is dedicated to transforming lives in the region. Your gift means our mobile vet clinics can provide emergency treatment for injured donkeys. We heal wounds and ensure donkeys aren't suffering. We also work with local communities, helping them to look after and cherish their donkeys. You'll help make sure there's always a place at our sanctuaries for abandoned and abused donkeys who have nowhere else to turn. Please call 0800 144 5802, text SAFE4 to 84902, go online or scan the QR code and give just £2 a month and help change a donkey's life today.
The legend Shri Anup Jalota ji is back. Samara Events UK presents Anup Jalota live in London. Travel partner Southall Travel. Get ready for an unforgettable night of soulful bhajans, ghazals and Bollywood melodies. The legendary Anup Jalota ji is coming to the Beck Theatre in Hayes on Sunday the 25th of May 2025. Book your seats now. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime musical evening. Radio partner Sunrise Radio.
When I woke up, they said, Alyssa, you've got leukemia. We found out that the chemo wasn't working. So at that point, it was like, I'm gonna die. My consultant was looking for these clinical trials, and she found this one at Great Ormond Street. I'm cancer-free now.
Curing Alyssa was a world first, but cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK. Will you help us do more? Search Gosh Care to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital, a home for breakthrough research with world-class facilities to help beat cancer for more children. Together, with your kind support, we can help save lives and transform children's cancer care for decades to come. Text CARE to 70125 to give £3 a month and help build our new children's cancer centre. Together, we can beat cancer for more children.
Hello and welcome. We have a very special guest with us here today on the NDTV network for an exclusive interview. It's the Second Lady of the United States, Miss Usha Vance. Miss Vance, NDTV की दर्शकों की तरफ से आपको नमस्कार. You know, there's a lot of curiosity about what's going on in your kitchen. Everyone is most interested because the Vice President himself has said that he was a meat and potatoes man until he met you, and then your mother taught him how to cook. So now everyone wants to know, what is it that he cooks for you?
Well, he's very experimental. He'll try anything. So he's done everything from chana masala to, has been making a specialty of desserts recently. So our children especially enjoy that.
In your home, what does a traditional Indian meal look like?
Well, my family is from Andhra Pradesh. And
they have the most amazing cuisine.
Yes, I think so. Although we've been enjoying the food of other areas as well while we're here. So my mother and grandmother are both excellent cooks. And my father, too, actually makes very good dosa, pasaratu, things like that. So, I mean, I think it looks exactly like what you might imagine. You know, sometimes it's very simple and it's sambar and rice and some sort of kura. Sometimes it's a little more.
Hello and welcome to this very special show, Fault Lines. I'm Gauri Dwivedi and this is a new show on NDTV World, where truth meets turbulence. The show that exposes the many fault lines that are taking place around the world. The first fault line that we will be exposing to you. India hits back after the Pahalgam attack with Operation Sindoor. Pakistan fumbles with mimicry while the world watches through a fog of propaganda, and we decode the ultimate terror fault line that passes through Pakistan. And later, a second fault line. We talk about, well, what Putin is trying to do. He puppeteers both Zelensky and Donald Trump in a geopolitical chess game. Why does peace look as elusive as it did on day one of Trump 2.0? The fault line that Putin has been able to very successfully exploit again and again. First up, the big divide this Monday. We bring you the unvarnished truth. For decades, Pakistan has played both sides. In fact, one hand shaking with world leaders while the other cradles terrorists. From Al-Qaeda to the Taliban, they've acted as both the host and protector of global terror. And today we expose the dark truth behind this deadly game. Remember, viewers, this isn't just a matter of collateral damage or a few rogue actors. The Pakistani government has openly supported, shielded, aided some of the world's most dangerous terrorists. Who all are those? We're going to put that out one by one for you. From Osama bin Laden to the very groups that were responsible for 9/11 and 26/11. Pakistan has long been the sanctuary for terror. Pakistan's own leaders have publicly acknowledged the deadly alliance between Pakistani state and terrorists. It's the time the world woke up, took notice of what exactly has happened and stopped pretending that this is just a matter of coincidence. Let's break this down with some of the biggest faces, well, terrorists, and where are you going to find them? Of course, in Pakistan. First on your screens is Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the deadliest terror attack that took place on American soil. What was it? The 9/11. He is the poster boy of the 9/11 terror attack that took place. Bin Laden, the architect. Pakistan not only turned a blind eye but gave him a sanctuary. He wasn't hiding in the mountains. He was living in